a bucket and a foul. Breakaway. Io.
Oh, meet me at the rim and don't be late.
Give me the hot sauce. Did you not get the memo? Derek Rose can go upstairs.
Oh, he's walked in. The steal. Right for the lead. Yeah!
Big time play. Big time play.
Gimme for the win. Go!
Oh, my God. I cannot believe it.
Hey, everybody, welcome into a brand new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. We are taping on a Monday afternoon. Stacey King is alongside after watching a bunch of losses, home and on the road, and they are really in a funk right now. And now we're seeing reports of splintering in the locker room, and that's when you worry about stuff.
Don't believe the hype. There's no splinter in the locker room. The guys get along. There's no arguing. There's no fighting. I'm around these guys, pretty much 24/7. I travel with them. I'm in their locker room. They all get along. It's the problem is that they have to find ways to defend. It's not offense, it's defensively. Guys have to get committed to playing defense. And it's almost you have to look in the mirror, Mark. Guys have to look individually in the mirror and say, what can I do or what am I not doing that's contributing to the way this team is playing right now? So I've got to look in the mirror and say, okay, I got to rebound better. I got to defend better. I got to get over screens. I got to communicate. Whatever it is individually that you do that you're lacking, you've got to improve on it quickly because there's still enough time to turn this thing around, but it's also enough time for this to snowball and go from 6 or 7 losses to 12, 13. We saw what happened to Detroit a couple of years ago when they had a high energy team. There were a bunch of young players, but they had an excuse. They were a young team, 1 or 2 years experience, and they were taking it on the chin. But they were getting better as they were losing those games. They were getting better and better. Now look at them now.
On Sunday, the Bulls lost to a Golden State team that was missing Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Al Horford, Jonathan Kuminga, just about everybody.
Yeah.
And the thing that was sad to watch was that the United Center was just dead. I mean, there was no enthusiasm, and you could see that on the court, too, because obviously if the players don't give the fans a reason to cheer, they're not going to cheer.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you got to give the crowd something to get energized about. Listen, Chicago Bulls have one of the best fan bases in the NBA, okay? That place is always rocking. Fans want this team to win, but most importantly, they want them to compete. They want them to come out there, and if it's a slugfest, let's slug it out. They want you to play hard. They want to see you dive on the floor. This is a blue-collar city. It's always been that way. And the blue-collars in this city gravitate to the teams that play that way. They can accept you losing. They can accept you losing games, but they don't accept you not giving effort.
Right. Well, one of the guys that Bulls fans love to follow is our good buddy Ricky O'Donnell. He is a writer, editor, director of programming for SB Nation. You can follow his coverage there at SBN_Ricky. He's always outspoken, always tells it like it is, whether it's the Bulls, college basketball, the WNBA. He's even doing some football now. Ricky, thank you for joining us. I knew you were at the game on Sunday when that flat performance against the shorthanded Golden State Warriors. I want to start at the beginning of the year because I remember you were writing some stuff like, are the Bulls good when they were 5-0, 6-1? And we were thinking, oh, maybe they're a top 6 team. It's just remarkable that you could have this kind of transition from being, the talk of the league as being this improved team, and then a month later, you're worried about lottery position again.
For sure. I think the first thing that jumps out is that there was just going to be an opportunity in the East this year. You size up the conference coming into the season. It's the Knicks or the Cavs. Well, the Cavs just haven't looked very good this year to start the season through the first 20, 25 games. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries too. The Knicks look good, but there's still a huge opportunity in the East. You got to think 6 of the 7 best teams are in the West this year. So somebody in the East was going to move up. And I thought, well, when they started 6-1, maybe it could be the Bulls. This team does not have very much talent on paper, but perhaps they have a little bit more than the sum of their parts, just with their style of play and their shot making, in the way they just put pressure on the opposing team. But what we've seen over these last couple of weeks is that the Bulls have totally let go of the rope, and they don't have any margin for error when they're not going to be on top of their game. The first thing that jumps out to me is that they're just getting crushed in the possession game every single night. And the basketball writer Jared Dubin came up with a nice little formula to calculate possessions, which isn't an easily available stat over the internet. But he came up with the formula, and I've been doing it after every few Bulls games to see where they place. And they're basically losing by 5 possessions a game. That's just no way to win when you're at a talent deficit almost every single night. The Bulls are almost never going to have the best player on the floor when they're playing against, another team. And for that to be the case, you got to win offensive rebounds, you got to win the free throw battle, you got to win the turnover battle. And they're losing these categories every single night. And then defensively, I mean, there's no other way to say it, but this team is soft as hell. And we've seen it, consistently over the last few years that Vooch as a center is just never going to be a good rim protection center. Once he gets beat, he has no recovery ability. But Vooch can execute the scheme if the point of attack defense in front of him can actually do their job and stay glued to their men. The point of attack defense on this team is absolutely atrocious. Vooch just gets a little bit slower and a little bit more gravity bound every single year. And at this point, like, they're almost trying to manufacture transition opportunities off makes because they can't get a stop. And it's just a formula for getting run off the floor night after night. And what we've seen over these last couple weeks is that the Bulls are among the dregs of the NBA. I mean, the Nets beat them, the Pelicans beat them, the Pacers beat them twice, the Hornets beat them, the Jazz beat them. These are the worst teams in the NBA, and that is not a fluke. The Bulls are among the worst teams in the NBA right now. Yes, it hurts not having Jalen Smith, not having Isaac Okoro, a few other guys banged up, but at the end of the day, it's a talent issue more than anything else, and this roster does not have enough talent. They don't have enough bites at the apple to acquire high-impact talent. And the Bulls really need to look in the mirror right now and realize you cannot put a bandage over a bullet wound. This team needs to just be honest with itself and realize no one player is fixing where they're at. And they need to take their medicine, which is something Arturas Karnisovas in the front office refused to do at the end of the last DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso era. Sometimes you need your medicine. That means losing right now for the good of the future. And I think, unfortunately, that's the position the Bulls are in at the moment.
Well, one of the things, injury is part of the game. A lot of these teams are going through a lot of injuries. A lot of guys are missing a lot of games. That's no excuse. I think one of the things the Bulls' problem is they've gotten away from their identity that they started when they were 5-0. They were a team that got out in transition. They played 11 or 12 guys, and they overwhelmed guys with a very good bench. They had the number 2 bench in the league, the second highest scoring bench in the league. They had 2 of the highest scoring games from their bench. And now guys are getting, put out, taken off the bench, put in the starting lineup. That means it depletes the bench. You got guys that are in and out of the lineup. Kobe's in and out. Sometimes he can't play back to back. And it's just kind of disrupted the chemistry that they've had. Have you seen the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I loved what Io was doing off the bench this year. I was, saying his name for Sixth Man of the Year, even coming into the season, just because he was so spectacular in the preseason. Like, you could see that Io was going to have a big year watching the preseason games. But, you move him into the starting lineup, and now his role is different. His responsibilities are different. And yeah, part of it does go back to the injuries. Like, you need Trey Jones in there. Trey Jones is really good. You need Okoro in there. Okoro, while I think he's an eyesore on offense, like, the team is better and tougher when Okoro's in the lineup. So then when those guys drop out and now suddenly Io's not going against bench guards, he's not catching people by surprise with his forays to the rim. And he's someone who's, got to be either like more of an off-ball guard or someone whose responsibilities just change a bit in the starting lineup. And it's really hurt them. So yeah, I mean, they have injuries. Every team in the NBA is going to have injuries. And their top level guys have mostly been healthy this year. So I don't really think it's a fair excuse. And I think, like, the honest evaluation of this Bulls team is they stink. They're going to continue to stink. And there's not a move out there that they could make that is going to change, their standing in the league this year. I honestly think it's pretty much over already.
Well, they've got like 7 guys on expiring contracts. Can Arturas get ahead of the curve and start unloading some of these guys? I mean, at this point, that's probably the best course of action is, like you said, to take your lumps, try to improve your lottery position, and maybe get some more draft capital for some of these expirings.
I love it. Yeah, the Bulls have a ton of flexibility right now. Like, as much as you could say, oh, the Bulls are so screwed long term, like, they do have all their draft picks moving forward. They have one surplus pick with a lottery protected Portland pick, if that ever conveys. Portland keeps losing now every game too. So it's like, are they ever even going to get that pick?
Hey, they get Dame Lillard next year.
Yeah, we'll see. But definitely the expiring contracts are valuable. Yeah. And like, that flexibility has a time limit on it. Like, after the trade deadline passes, Okay, now all those guys are just free agents. And it's like, okay, well, we like Kevin Herter. Okay, we like, any of these other guys. Well, you have to probably give them a raise to keep them. And this
Mm-hmm.
team already stinks. So why would you do that? So Arturis needs to show more action this year than he has on previous trade deadlines. And he needs to use some foresight and actually have a long-term plan and be proactive, because that wasn't the case when he was tearing down this roster before. And the Bulls are in this position now because Arturis botched the teardown from the DeRozan, Levine, Caruso years. Yeah, you got Giddey. Giddey's playing pretty well. But in general, if you're not going to pick high in the draft and you refuse to tank, then you need surplus picks. So you could cast a wide net, take some more guys, and see if one of those guys shakes out into a star. When you're only getting one pick per draft and it's not going to be a top pick, well, then you have a situation like what happened this year with Noah Senge, who I loved Noah Senge, when the Bulls made that pick, but he had so much pressure on him this year to, be a shining beacon of hope for the Bulls because, it's him and Modest. They don't really have anything else to hang their hat on in the future. Now Senge suffers this devastating shoulder injury. He's going to be out for, the next 7 months rehabbing. And it's like, what do the Bulls even have to really develop over the rest of this season? They just need more bites at the apple to try to find some star power. And as I think about this 2026 draft, there's a lot of star power at the top of this draft. There's going to be a lot of heartbreak on lottery night because there's a lot of teams around the league that are in a desperate position to get lucky. I think the Bulls are one of those teams. A lot of teams are going to get their heart broken, but if you can't get one of those top guys, you might as well, take multiple bites at the apple, try to get multiple picks in this draft, and see if you could come up with a future, starter, ideally a future franchise player, because right now they don't have much to hang their hat on.
Just sitting there watching these games every night, Billy is in love with these guard heavy rotations. And that's, I feel, is one of the reasons why they get out rebounded every single night by teams that they should be out rebounding. I would like to see two things happen. This is just me being an armchair point guard on how I think the team could get better, at least better going forward. One, play a bigger lineup, move Modest to small forward, which is his natural position right now. I think he's much more comfortable with the ball in his hands and playing out on the floor. Play Smith at the power forward, and if Vooch is still here, you play Vooch at the center, take some pressure off him to rebound by himself. Now you alleviate the offensive rebounds with your 3, 4, and 5 man, Ricky. Gives you a bigger lineup. You got big guards and Josh Giddey at 6'8", Kobe at 6'5", Modest at 6'10". You got 6'11" Smith and 6'11" Vooch. That's a big lineup to trot out there and should alleviate the rebound part of it. Now, defensively, I think the switching is not working. Okay, this is a copycat league. Everyone does this. Everyone switches. Each team, Ricky, knows how to attack the switches. Every team practices it. Every team sees it every night. They know exactly where the ball needs to go on a double team or a switch, who's going to break down who. The Bulls are constantly playing catch up on the perimeter, trying to find out who's going to take the shot, and they're always wrong. Stop the switching, guard your man, fight through screens like they did in the 90s and the 2000s. Be tough, because that would give you some toughness and make you be tough if you had to fight through these screens. These guys switch from 5 to 10 feet away, and then you see him get back cut for a layup because that switch is not supposed to be that far apart. They're supposed to come together and you switch, and normally you switch same size guys. The Bulls don't have the perimeter players to be switching all the time. There's guys out there are going to get beat as soon as they switch, and teams seek out the mismatches. They're not just going to keep running their offense. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, Vooch in a pick and roll. Let's run a pick and roll with Vooch and Josh Giddey. Every single time down the floor, they're going to run that combination of pick and roll. And I just say stop the switching, play straight up. It keeps Vooch off of guarding smaller guys, takes him off the rebound, makes him stay in the paint to rebound the basketball. Just try it. Just try it. Just see if it works. That's what I want to tell Billy so bad. Just try it, see if it works, because the switching is not working for this team right now.
Yeah, I like all those ideas, and honestly, Billy's got to start taking your advice, because whatever the Bulls are doing right now is not working. They're getting smoked by all the worst teams in the league. I really like Jalen Smith this year. If you just look at the per 100 possession stats, Jalen Smith was their leading scorer basically the entire season until he went out. Now, I know that he's not exactly a defensive anchor in the middle, and that probably limits, some of his minutes and his upside. But a spacing big man just gives you a lot more juice on the offensive end, and he's both the bounciest finisher on the team and the best shooter among the bigs in terms of volume and usually accuracy. So I would like to see more Jalen Smith. Why not put him at the four? I love this
Yes.
idea. Slide Modest to the three, get a little bit more toughness inside. Yes, you're going to lose some of the transition fast break opportunity, but guess what? You can't get those opportunities if you don't rebound and if you don't
Exactly.
get stops. And that's the issue the Bulls have run into. And then I like the idea on the switching too. I mean, the Bulls just have so many defenders who, like, if you're on the other team, and normally in the playoffs, it turns into like, okay, I'm pulling up the weakest defender and I'm attacking them.
Yes.
With the Bulls, the entire team is weak
Yes.
defenders. You don't even really have to do
Yes.
that. You can just go at them in isolation. And when the Bulls played the Heat this year, that's when the Bulls were still like, maybe they could be an above 500 team this season. Miami came to the United Center, and the Heat absolutely crushed the
Yes.
Bulls. And the Heat don't set ball screens at
No.
all. That's one thing Miami's done this year. We're going away from screens. We're just attacking you in isolation, pushing the pace. And in that game, you really just saw how many weak defenders the Bulls play at a time. The Bulls generally in every lineup have four defenders who would be the worst defender on any good defense. So
Yes.
it's like, all right, if you're just going to attack them in isolation, you can blow by all these guys. They're all either too slow or too small, and the lineup configurations don't make any sense, and the team is soft. So it is just, take your pick at who you want to attack. You're probably going to beat them off the dribble, and they have no recovery ability in the middle with Vooch at center. So I like all those ideas, Stace. I think you got to get in Billy's ear because, this team is quickly letting go of the rope right now.
It's interesting. The Bulls are on this stretch where you looked at it on paper and you said they got a 10-game stretch. They could go 8-2 and they could really move up the ladder in the East. Well, so far they're 0-7 in this stretch with Charlotte and the Pelicans coming up again. It's just been bizarre. And Billy made a kind of a strange comment the other day when he was asked about how guys getting along, and he said, "Well, they all are good guys. They like each other, but if they really love each other, they would dive on the floor for loose balls and help each other on defense." And it was interesting. On Monday after practice, Javon Carter was asked about it, and he goes, "I don't know about all that. You're paid to do your job. Just come and do your job the way you're supposed to do it." It just seems like the message isn't getting through right now, and especially with a guy like Modest, who's the one guy that they can develop. He had a great summer, looked good in the preseason, and he was going through a little funk. He's been better the last couple of games, but you hate to see his development being slowed because of what's going on around him.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that Donovan should probably be a little bit worried about his job if they lose on Friday to Charlotte. Like, I know he's been here forever and he seems totally bulletproof, but in the NBA, you can't sustain long losing streaks like that. And to be honest, I think Billy Donovan's a good coach in general. I don't think the issues that the team is having right now are really coaching related. I think it's much more talent related, and it goes back to the front office. And that's why I think they need to look in the mirror, because you talk to anyone around the league right now, and I have talked to some people, just had some conversations off the record with people, and it seems like, the Bulls are in a spot here where they're going to choose a direction. They're either going to choose, okay, we need to add talent and we need to try to compete this year. That is typically the route Arturas takes because he does not like to tank, or you need to tank and fall back and just trade these expiring contracts, maybe take on some bad salary for getting future assets. Not a path the Bulls often take, but the way they've built this thing up, it just hasn't worked. And Donovan, I think, has generally been a really good coach, the only active coach in the Hall of Fame, but he's in a tough position right now where he doesn't really have the horses to compete. Everyone's hurt right now. The team doesn't have enough toughness. You knew they were going to be soft inside coming into the year. You knew that the point of attack defense with Kobe and Giddy wasn't going to be good enough. Trey Jones was able to flip that a little bit at the start of the year, being among the league's steals leaders. Okoro, just an innings eater, as a defensive player. Like, he's not really going to move the needle too much, but God, you just see like the need for someone to just soak up 30 minutes of tough on ball defense every night. When you don't have that, you let go of the rope. So I like all these ideas. I think ultimately they're just not good enough. There's not enough talent on this team. And that is a long term issue that needs to be addressed. And I just don't think there's any quick fixes for this roster right now.
Well, one of the things, just being a guy that's played this game, one of the things that I've seen with just not with the Bulls, but this whole NBA that we see today, the players push for less practice time, okay? And that's fine for veteran guys who've been in this league 10, 12, 14 years. But when you have these younger players that have been here year one, 20 years old, 19, those guys need practice time on the floor. They need to actually be out there. And when you watch the Bulls, I'm just going to use the Bulls because we see the Bulls every night. If you watch the Bulls on offense and defense, sometimes it looks like they just met these guys for the very first time. Like, I've never seen this guy in this spot. I normally see him over here, but he's over here now. But when you're practicing defensive rotations in a live speed, with game clocks. You're doing so many different things that can help you become a better team defensively and a better team offensively. When I watch this team play, they don't even understand where the mismatches are on offense. They can't see. They're like robots. They run the play. If the play is designed to score on the left side of the court, they don't see that there was a switch with Vooch in the post with, let's just say, just use a guard, Chris Paul, a 6'1" guard on Vooch. They don't recognize, like, hey, there's a mismatch there. Play's broken. Let's get the ball and get a more efficient play with Vooch instead of trying to, do a drive and kick for a three-point shot. And that's the thing that drives me crazy with this team. It's like, it's okay to improvise a little bit when you see a better option there. You should have that luxury. Billy should have that luxury to these guys and say, listen, if you see something on the floor that we can take advantage of at the guard spot, Josh Giddey, do it. If you see Vooch is open, because I believe Vooch is much better when he gets touches. When he doesn't get touches, he shuts down. It's like he just shuts down on the defensive end. When you see him play well, he's getting inside. He's scoring a little bit on the inside. Then he goes outside, knocks down a couple. Then he's more engaged defensively. These young players haven't figured that out with him the years that they've been here with him, that you have to feed the big dog some nights to get him going. He's not going to go out there and manufacture points himself. He's not going to get the ball and go isolation and try to beat a man off the dribble. You've got to find ways to set the table for him, which in turn he's engaged defensively. And I think they've gotten away from that as well.
Yeah, and one stat that jumps out to me about that is that the Bulls currently, on this website, Cleaning the Glass, have the best location-based expected field goal percentage in the NBA. Essentially, the Bulls are getting the best shots. They're getting good shots, which are rim looks, corner threes, everything else. But they're the worst finishing team in the league at the rim. Like, they just don't play with any force and any physicality. And it's tough because I love Modest, but even Modest's 2-point scoring, like, needs to be better. It's at 52% this year from two. That's what it was at last year. It's like, dude, you're 6'10" and bouncy. Like, some of these, like, finger roll layups Modest is trying, just dunk the ball. And we saw him do it last night.
Yeah, he dunked on top of the
best dunks I've ever seen. One of the best dunks I've ever seen in person was Modest just posterizing Quinton Post. That was awesome. I want to see more of that. Play with more force, play with more physicality around the rim. And I'm with you, too, on, like, needing to attack mismatches. Because right now, the calculators are saying they're getting good shots. But they're not good shots if they don't go in.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, you got to switch something up. And, yeah, I mean, it's a team that just doesn't really have the margin for error to keep making the same mistakes time after time. And I think you see it at the organizational level, too. Like, do the Bulls learn from their mistakes? Is that something we can say about the Bulls? Like, not really. So this is a year where everything is going wrong after a hot start, and they need to actually look in the mirror and try to, diagnose the real problems that have been plaguing this franchise. Because since they traded Jimmy Butler, you look at, their record since the Butler trade, they're the 5th worst team in the NBA. And this is just going on way too long for them to still be what feels like, to me, a post-Jimmy Butler rebuild. They traded him almost 10 years ago, and they're still trying to dig themselves out of that deal. It's because they haven't been able to land a franchise talent, because they've moved up in the draft, 3 times since 2000? They moved up in the lottery for Elton Brand, for D Rose, and for Patrick Williams. And, they need to get that stroke of luck to put them back on the right path. And if not, they need to really reassess how they go about building the roster, because the roster's their biggest issue right now.
Well, Ricky, I know you cover the league at large. You cover the college game very closely, one of the best draft analysts in the country. When you look around right now, Oklahoma City has just been a juggernaut through the first quarter of the season, and Jalen Williams missed most of those games. They have the Clippers pick among their 3 first-round picks for next season. Can anyone beat the Oklahoma City Thunder not only this year, but projecting out 3 to 5 years?
I don't think so, but we'll see. Like, they won 68 games last year, and then in the playoffs, they looked pretty shaky because it is just a different game in the postseason. One thing about the Thunder is they just don't have much shooting. And it's funny because critics of today's NBA will say, oh, every team plays the same way. But really, like the team that won before, Boston, was shooting all these threes. Oklahoma City basically never shoots threes. So they do have a very distinct style defensively. And I would say Oklahoma City's style is we're going to foul you every play and we're going to dare the refs to call it. And the refs usually aren't going to call it. Oh, and by the way, we might have the best guard in the NBA since Michael Jordan in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is just a complete assassin. And I know that sounds crazy, up there with Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, all these other guys. What he's doing right now, he's putting his name among those legends with how he's playing. He's he's only his mid-20s. He's got a long time to go before his name is really there, but he is peaking at a level pretty comparable to where some of those all-time greats have peaked. So I think the Thunder are completely awesome. No easy matchups in the West, though. Like, they're going to have to play the Rockets. The Rockets are a super weird team that just offensive rebounds. Like, they don't take threes at all, but they're the best team at rebounding their missed threes, and they usually put them back in with Steven Adams being such a monster inside. So, the Rockets, just their physicality, I think, could be an issue maybe for Chet Holmgren and some of the other Thunder. And then Denver, too. I mean,
Denver's the one.
They have the ultimate chess master in Jokic. And Jokic is just 2 steps ahead of everyone else. So, I mean, they need to get Cam Johnson going. He's been a disappointment so far this season. The Tim Hardaway Jr. edition has looked good. I would say, following his whole career dating back to Michigan, Tim Hardaway usually starts off pretty strong. And then it's like, by the end of the year, can we really play this guy in the playoffs? Denver's got injuries too. Aaron Gordon out, Christian Brown out. So I think like those teams are both going to be a huge pain in the ass to play.
What about the Lakers? You buying the Lakers?
Yeah, I think the Lakers are good. I would put them at the top of the 3rd tier for NBA contenders. I don't quite put them with the Rockets and the Nuggets. Maybe I'll be wrong and they'll end up being better than those teams. And I think the Thunder are clearly in a tier by themselves. The Thunder might win 75 games this year. And the Lakers look good. I mean, Austin Reeves, what a story this guy is. Going from undrafted to looking like a potential All-NBA player this year. Luka, the revenge season you dreamed about for Luka is happening. He looks so motivated and so in shape. And he's like Jokic, the next best chess master in the NBA and is just able to control every piece. So Lakers look good. And man, Luka's having the same effect on these Lakers role players that he once had on the Mavericks role players on their road to the championship. The way Luka turned around, Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington and Derek Lively. Well, now he's doing it to Rui, and now he's doing it to DeAndre Ayton and a lot of these other pieces. So the West looks like a murderer's row, and you got a team like San Antonio sitting there with Wemby being like, should we trade for Giannis? Is now the time to take our shot at the Thunder? So yeah, the opportunity is much greater in the East, which makes the Bulls' horrible season even tougher to stomach. But there's a lot of good basketball going on right now. Most of it is in the West, and I'm very interested to see how this Thunder thing plays out because they looked kind of shaky in the playoffs last year, still won the title. To me, they're even better this year. So I want to see how this one's going to end up.
Well, and to me, and we, me and Mark did their game at Oklahoma City, so we saw them twice last year. They were arguably the best defensive team in the game. I mean, they make it so hard for you to run your offense. They're so disruptive. Lou Dort is like a linebacker out there playing, and they're no different this year. And, Sam Presti, man, I'm telling you, he's got to be the executive year every single year from the rest. They might as well just give him the award for the next 10 years because to be able to get all those draft picks and be able to turn them into where they're at right now and then still have draft picks in the vault, and then a possibility that you may get a Darren Peterson.
Yeah, to add
you
to
may get AJ DeBanza, Carlos Boozer's son, Cam Boozer. You may get Caleb, the kid Caleb was it Wilson in North Carolina. Yeah. You can get one of those top 5 players on your team, and you're a 67-win team and a finals team again. That's like the rich gets richer.
Yeah. So I just read Jeff Pearlman's Showtime Lakers book. Such a good book. Jeff Pearlman's sports books are just awesome. But this is basically around the time I was born in the mid 80s, but some of this stuff I didn't even realize. Like, the Lakers just getting James Worthy is the best team in the league. And that's kind of what this Thunder thing is reminding me of. It's like, oh my God, they're going to get Darren Peterson or Cameron Boozer after they win 75 games. How is this even possible? Like, but it happened in the 80s. I think it probably happened in the 60s with the Celtics getting, a lot of the best players. So there is some precedent for this historically. And, the Thunder, they found the market inefficiency. And it always changes. It's like, in baseball, in the Moneyball era, one day someone realized walks were as valuable as singles. And this year, the Thunder have realized we can just foul on every possession and they're not going to call it. And I think that there's, they blur the line, let's say, between physical play and fouling. And nobody else can match up with them right now. And they are just getting pick six every time. It's like their defense goes on runs. I've never seen anything like it. The way they're able to just generate these steals and fast break opportunities.
But see, Ricky, here's the deal, though. They practice that. They practice that. This is part of their staple of what they do as a team defensively, and they know their identity of who they are. They know the league is soft. They know all the teams in this league, except for exception of maybe 5 teams that maybe can match up with them with the physicality. But they know this league is soft. So all you got to do is just attack people. And they've got the personnel. You bring a Cason Wallace off, who would start on most teams in the NBA. He's a killer. I mean, they've got so many guys. Caruso missed half the season last year, and they still won the championship, and they still put themselves as the number 1 seed. So they are deep at every position. I think the biggest thing, if you're looking at them, one of the weaknesses of their team, it's not really a weakness. It's just that Chet is not matured yet. His body is not physically matured. But that, if you want to point out a little weakness, a little chink in the armor, is the inside game of Oklahoma City. But it's not that bad, though, because Chet's still a rim protector, and he's still a stretch shooter. And Hartenstein, I think they could use one more big. If they can go out and snatch somebody off the open market, like somebody like Andre Drummond.
We'll send him Vooch for the Clippers pick.
Give me a guy. Go get a guy like Drummond who may be cheap. You may be able to get a guy like that who's physical, that's going to rebound for you, because Drummond is playing really well right now. We'd love to have him here.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we're missing. But they understand this league. They understand who their identity is. And I've always said this: if you have a team that, if you go out there and you don't foul, you're not a team that's aggressive. You're a team that kind of plays soft. The officials are going to call the game. When you decide to get tough, they're going to call fouls all the time, because that's not your MO. That's not your identity. But if you come out from preseason to the first 10 games of the season and establish that this is the way we're going to play, then the officials will say, okay, Chicago has now turned up to be a good defensive team, because the numbers will validate that, and officials will call the game differently against you. That's like when we had Alex Caruso here. Alex Caruso got away with a lot more than what the average player on his team got away with, because of his reputation of being a defensive stopper. It would be no different if you had a team that was up the top 5 in defense. You would get those same calls. But if you can't stop people, and then one day you say, well, I think I'm going to play defense today, now all guys are fouling out. Oh, he's got 5 fouls right now, because that's not how they're used to seeing you play.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the Thunder are just so locked in right now. I predicted at the start of the year they would win 70 games. I think I shortchanged them by a few, because they are just running away with it right now. And their defense is so much fun to watch. Really, I've never seen anything like this. Like, I was a little young for the Dobermans back in the day. Now, I had the thought last night, I'm sorry, but like Johnny Bach would be rolling over.
I said that. Johnny Bach's somewhere right now punching air in heaven. I can't believe this is the game the Bulls have come to right now. But you know what, though? Ricky, and I said this last night, too. Defense is attitude. It'd be nice to have the A1 athlete, the guy that can, but if you can't slide 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right, stay in front of your man in the basket, then you can't play in this league. It's all about want to do it. Do you want to get out there and compete? Do you want to stop your man? I mean, I've been on teams where, a championship team where someone said, let's switch this. No, we're not switching. I'm staying on him. I'm going to lock him down. And you have to have dogs like that in the kennel. I don't know if we have that. I don't know if we have that one guy or 2 guys. Io seems like he could be that guy. That could be that guy that's a defensive stopper. But I even think he's kind of phased more towards the offensive side of the ball. And I like I said, I would do away with the switching. I'd be like, we're not switching unless it's same size guys. Our bigs are never switching on guards. Vooch is never switching on a guard. I'm not doing that. Now, Jalen Smith, maybe because he moves better than Vooch, but Vooch will never be in a switch in a pick and roll. Never, unless Stevie Wonder is dribbling. That's the only time I'm going to allow him to switch if Stevie Wonder is dribbling, because Stevie Wonder ain't going anywhere. So, but other than that, stay your butt in the paint and rebound the basketball. Simple game. I always say it's a simple game. Don't make it more complicated than what it needs to be.
There you go.
True. Yeah.
From the mouth of Stacey King. Well, hopefully they'll be listening and execute some of these things. Hey, Ricky, we really enjoyed having you on. We'll have you on closer to the trade deadline, see if they make some of these moves that we've been talking about throughout the show. Obviously, something's got to give, and the first thing is to start winning some games. So
I want him on the draft, too, because he said he was talking about Coward in Memphis. He was one of the big believers in Coward, and Coward is turning out to be a stud in Memphis. Matter of fact, he's turned out to be so good that they're trying to move Ja.
Yeah, that's Memphis's front office for you. They get a lot of picks. They take a lot of bites at the apple. And, hey, how about Zach Edey, too? Zach Edey was awesome.
Yeah.
As a mid-first round pick for them, he looks like maybe the NBA's best sophomore right now. I might need to do some sophomore rankings. Modest up there, too. But Edey looks awesome. And there's a lot of good prospects in this draft class. I'm excited to talk to you guys about some of them on a future episode, but Bulls need some of this young talent.
Yes.
Talent is the biggest issue. That's my takeaway from this season.
Well, Ricky, thanks again. We look forward to talking about the draft real soon, and we'll be following your coverage at SB Nation. That's at SBN_Ricky. Follow him on X. He's one of the greatest draft prognosticators.
One of the best in the business.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Ricky. We'll have you on again real soon.
Friend of the program, baby.
Thanks, guys.
Ricky O'Donnell, our guest. Today, I want to tell you about another good friend of ours, our buddy Jeff Vukovic. He'll take care of all your insurance needs. Auto, home, and business. Jeff will treat you like royalty. He's my insurance agent. He can be yours, too. Reach out to him at jeffvuk.com. That's VUK.com. The phone number, 847-825-4783. And I know Stacey's been getting feedback from Bulls fans. They want to hear the jingle every night, no matter what.
I didn't know the jingle was so important to people, man. I mean, seriously, I just do it just because I do it.
Yeah.
But I got so much feedback. Say, you knew Stacey King was mad when he didn't sing the jingle. and normally that is very true. When I do get upset with the way the team plays, I don't feel jovial to sing the nationwide jingle. And I didn't know people were catching that.
Yeah.
I didn't know people sensed that. And then I was getting tweets about it. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna let my displeasure ruin it for so many people who love listening to the jingle." So, shout out to you, Bulls Nation, who got my attention. I will never not sing the nationwide jingle again, unless Jeff's no longer a sponsor. Then I won't sing it. But I will sing it. I will sing it all the time. Nationwide is on your side.
There you go, Bulls fans. Courtesy of Stacey King. We'll be back with more Give Me the Hot Sauce. Welcome back to Give Me the Hot Sauce. Of course, fans across Chicagoland, really across the country, are focused in at Lambeau Field on Sunday afternoon. Bears and Packers, the first of two meetings over the next 3 weeks. Bears had a great second-half rally, came up just short, and I know that Ben Johnson would have gone for two if they scored that last touchdown.
You know what? There was plays to be made.
Yeah.
There was plays to be made. It just didn't make them. But you know what? I was encouraged.
Yeah.
I was encouraged. Listen, they hadn't had a lot of success in Green Bay. They got a chance, like you said, they'll meet again at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I'm supporting. There you go, right there. You see America, I support my teams right now.
It's a nice hat.
Thank you very much. Mark, I support my teams. Go Bears, bear down. Bear down. We got to get, I told Cisco, we need to get the rap. That's our theme song.
Yeah.
Did you get it, Cisco? Oh, man, see, Cisco. See, he asked for a little task. That was last week. He asked for a little task, and he can't get, oh, man. Just when I thought he turned the corner as a producer, he snaps right back. God. But I'm excited, Mark.
Yeah. The first half was tough because the Bears couldn't get anything going on offense. Green Bay got a long touchdown right before halftime to go 14-3, and you're thinking, man, this is not going well. And then they flipped the switch. That's one thing we've seen with this coaching staff. It's not like you have a lot of time to make halftime adjustments, but whatever he said, they came out a different team in the second half. Their defense played better, and they were able to run the ball effectively in the second half.
Well, that's been their MO all season long. It's like when you expect them to kind of just falter and just disintegrate, they turn it around very quickly. So I mean, they've proven it. Like, no lead is safe against them. That they can come back against anybody. They believe they can come back against anybody. Their defense can step up and get stops when they need it. I'm encouraged by it. I know it's a tough loss. They've been winning. They've been beating teams. And sooner or later you have to come to earth a little bit. But you lost to a good team.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of positives, and the way they came back, they answered everything Green Bay threw at him. And Caleb Williams, one of the problems he's had, like when he scrambles, he's usually not accurate throwing, but he made some big plays on the run, hit some receivers downfield. I was really encouraged by what I saw from Caleb Williams in that second half.
Yeah, I mean he's spread the ball around. We had the unfortunate time to have a Bulls game during that time. So we got to miss most of the second half. But I had my phone on. I was watching it as I'm calling games. I multitask, America. I can call a basketball game and watch a football game at the same time. And if you really want to, if you want to bring me a Foster's beer or something, I can drink that too. But I look at this Bears team. They have a lot of confidence in themselves. They don't lack confidence. They believe that they belong. They believe this is their year. They believe that they're one of the best teams in the NFC, and they play like it. And so when you have that type of confidence, your quarterback, if your quarterback has that confidence, everybody's going to have that confidence. So, Caleb Williams has confidence. I still think, he's got to, he's going to have to make plays as this season goes along. When it becomes just like in the NBA, the playoffs are different than the regular season. You're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to adjust offensively. They're going to have to put new wrinkles in their offense that no one's seen, and the defense is going to put up new wrinkles that he hasn't seen. And those are the adjustments he's going to have to make, and he's going to have to make them on the fly, and he's going to have to make throws down the stretch for his team to win. Yeah,
when you're playing good teams, you can't depend on turnovers. That was the key to success for most of the first half. They were getting multiple turnovers, leading to easy scores. Now they've had to drive the ball for long periods of time, and they did a good job in the game against the Packers. They had 2 really long drives to even up the game, just came up short at the end. Now they've got to get ready for the trap game. They've got 2 weeks they play the Packers at Soldier Field, but they got the Browns coming in, and Shedeur Sanders passed for like 360 yards in the game on Sunday.
The only person who can stop Shedeur Sanders is Stefanski, the coach. He's done a great job of. They took the training wheels off yesterday. He threw almost 400 yards yesterday, one of the highest yardage thrown for a rookie quarterback in the history of their program. He's starting to get more confidence and see what happens. See, people always want to try to talk trash about this kid.
Yeah,
this kid was not a 5th round talent. Everyone and their mother knows that. At worst, middle of the first round. Okay, he went head to head against the number 1 quarterback, Cam Ward, in Tennessee yesterday. Tennessee got the win, but it wasn't Shedeur Sanders' fault. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski is so fascinated with 2-point conversions without your quarterback being on the field. I don't get that. When your quarterback is playing as well as he is, you're going for 2. Why would you not have your quarterback under center or shotgun, RPO? You put your running back there to try to make plays for you, and it's failed miserably for the last 3 games. They have not been able to do that, and I don't know why he keeps doing it.
So Bears fans are already looking ahead to the rematch against the Packers, but don't sleep on the Browns.
Don't sleep on the Browns.
Remember, the Browns beat the Packers at Lambeau Field earlier this year.
And don't sleep on the Browns defense with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett gets after the quarterback. He's leading the league in sacks, I think, this year. Their defense, they got gashed yesterday. That was an aberration. But they are a very good defensive unit. They get after the quarterback. They tackle. They're very good on the cornerbacks and safeties. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Bears. So they come out here trying to overlook that the Cleveland Browns, like, they've only won 1 or 2 games, like the Bulls. They're going to find themselves with a loss and then going to play against Green Bay at home. But you want to get every win possible. You want to beat the Browns, going in there with momentum to play Green Bay at your field where you can beat them.
One of the other big NFL storylines, it looks like the champions or the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs is gone. They lost to the Houston Texans Sunday night, so they're now 6-7. I don't think we're going to be seeing Patrick Mahomes in the postseason this year.
Oh, man. America. I wasn't ready for this. This is too soon. I blame it on the Swifties. I blame it on the Swifties, man. I just believe that, Travis Kelce has not been the same, the player, the last 2 seasons since this romance has taken over. He's Patrick Mahomes' security blanket. He's the guy that gets downfield, that makes the big catches on 4th down, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. he's the guy Patrick Mahomes looks for. He hasn't been there this year. He hasn't been the same guy. He's not the guy that he was 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm blaming the Swifties. So Swifties, don't come after me if you watch this show. I'm blaming the Swifties. I'm blaming Taylor Swift on the decline of Travis Kelce. I think it's over. I think he'll probably retire after this season. And it's really weird not seeing them being one of the top teams in the AFC. They may not make the playoffs.
No, they won't because they've got 7 losses.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, they've had a stranglehold on the AFC West, but now Denver is running away with that division. They're, I believe, 11-2.
Denver, listen, man.
Denver plays the Packers
Let me
this
tell you
week,
something.
too.
Denver is like whipped cream. It looks good, tastes good, but if you put it in hot milk, it disintegrates. Okay? It disappears. Okay?
I was wondering where you were going to go with that analogy. I had no idea where that was going.
They're whipped cream, man. Their record looks gaudy. They look great, but I'm telling you,
they got Sean Payton as their coach.
Do not be surprised if they're an early out. Do not be surprised. I'm telling you.
What about the Patriots? They whipped cream too?
I think the Patriots are more real than Denver. I think with Vrabel, the coach, I think that Drake May is a solid quarterback. I think when he was drafted, people were like kind of questioning that pick. They're like, is he going to be better than Trubisky? Well, I think he answered that after the first year. Their defense is tough, and they take the identity of their coach. They're just like the Bears take the identity of Ben Johnson. And you go to Detroit. Detroit takes the identity of their coach. So, I think New England's real. I still think Buffalo is a team to beat coming out of there. Josh Allen never ceases to amaze you with what he does. I mean, they just the Chargers are right there too. The Chargers play tonight. They play somebody.
The Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles are reeling too. But the Eagles have enough to get out of the NFC, I believe. I don't think they can win it, though, but I think they got enough.
It's going to be wide open. I mentioned the Chiefs are out. The Eagles are struggling, so it'll be fun to watch the postseason. Yeah. Stacey's got the hat. He's all in.
I'm all in, baby.
I put all the
chips in, baby. Hey, listen. Come on now, Bears. Don't let me down. Don't let me down these next 2 weeks. Let's get to the playoffs, man, and let's go deep in the playoffs, man. This has been a hell of a year, a hell of a ride, baby.
You know who else he's all in on is the Oklahoma Sooners, who are part of the 12-team college football playoff. A rematch coming up in round 1 against the Alabama Crimson
What the
Tide.
hell is Alabama even doing in there?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to tell you something. Notre Dame fans, I know you're upset right now. And you
we
should
feel
be.
your pain.
You should be. There's no way in the world that BYU should have been out.
No, they got crushed by Texas
They got crushed
Tech.
by Texas twice in the season. Okay? But there's no way in the world that Notre Dame should not be in the playoffs. If you ask me right now, if Notre Dame played Miami right now, me and Mark were talking about this on the break.
Yeah.
Notre Dame would smash Miami right now. Notre Dame would beat half the teams that are in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they would easily.
So, and you can't use the thing, they don't travel, they don't have a fan base. They're on NBC. They got their own fan base. They
Well, people talk about their strength of schedule. They don't play anybody.
Who cares? Okay, listen. It's not. Listen, you can't penalize them because the SEC has like 100 teams that they brought in from different places. You can't penalize them because the Big Ten brought all the Pac-10 teams over there. Now they got a strong conference. That's terrible. And they're independent now. If they were smart, they go back to the ACC where they have a clear shot to get to the title every year because they would dominate everybody in the ACC. Let's be honest. The only teams that can probably compete with them is Florida State and Miami, but they would consistently beat them. So I understand why they want to go independent, but that hurt them. I think that hurt them in this situation. I don't think it'll hurt them going forward, but I think in this situation this year, it hurt them. And then losing early to a Miami team, which really shouldn't be a bad loss if you think about it. And they lost to Texas A&M, who's been one of the top teams in the country. They just lost their first game not too long ago. So those on your resume don't look bad.
Yeah.
Now, if you'd have lost to the Sisters of the Poor or Puget Sound or Tulane or someone like that, those are bad losses. I'm sorry.
So after Oklahoma beats Alabama again, they have to play the top seed Indiana Hoosiers.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. We don't care who we play, Mark. Matter of fact, we'll play everybody. We'll line up everybody. They're going to beat Alabama. Right. Get them out of here, okay? This will be like the 6th time we beat Alabama. I don't even know why we're playing them. Okay, we own Alabama, and it's going to be on. They're probably playing in Norman. Oh, they are playing in Norman.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, it's an automatic butt kicking. Okay, they coming to Soonerville. Okay, now Indiana.
Indiana's tough.
Let me tell you something. Indiana's beatable, man. Indiana's like an old truck, a reliable truck of Ford. It doesn't.
Here comes the analogies
Hey,
again.
listen, it's not pretty. It's not. It's gonna be rusty. It's gonna start, and no matter what the snowstorm is, how hot it is outside, it's always gonna start. It's always gonna drive off. Okay, that's Indiana.
They might have the Heisman Trophy winner on their team.
I don't care, Mark. They're still an old Ford, okay? All these other teams are sexy. Look at Ohio State. They beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Ohio State is a Ferrari truck. They're the Lamborghini truck. They're the nice truck that costs $300,000. They're all pretty. They got the nice wheels. And here comes Indiana driving the Fred Sanford junkyard truck. No one expects them to win, and they win. But when they go up against the Sooners, the Sooners are the same way. The Sooners, we're not driving a fancy car, Mark. Yeah. We're driving reliable. We're a Dodge Ram guys. We're coming there with a Dodge Ram, and we're just going to roll all over the Ford, okay? And then we're going to find ourselves in the national championship. I just want to thank everybody who voted for the Sooners. You guys got it right, and we are the best. We are the SEC. We should be the SEC championship. Thank goodness we didn't play in the bowl game, the big SEC championship, because that might have penalized us.
Right.
If we'd had to play in that. So, thank God we didn't have to play. Thank God we didn't have to play in that, because we'd have lost. They'd have kicked us out. We didn't have to play in the Mark, so we're back in the game. Right in the game, baby. Let's go, Sooners!
It's a new segment, handicapping with Stacey King.
Yes. Oh, hey, Glenn.
With
Glenn,
all creative analogies.
If you're watching this, Glenn, is Tennessee playing? Are they playing?
No, I think
they're playing in the bowl game, though, right?
Somewhere,
yeah. Yeah, the toilet bowl. They're playing in the toilet bowl.
They're playing Illinois.
In the toilet bowl game.
City Bowl.
Oh, Music City?
Yeah.
I thought it was the toilet bowl.
Nashville. You talked about how much you like Nashville.
I do love Nashville. I got family in Nashville. Shout out to my family in Nashville, all my cousins down there. That's my dad's brother's side. I'll shout out to them. I love Nashville. I like going down there, hanging out on that little strip down there with the little country bars and all that stuff. Jason Aldean's bar. I'm down there singing karaoke. They tried to sign me to a country album. I said, no, I don't do country. I'm R&B and hip hop, baby.
Hey, the holidays are coming up. You know what would be a great stocking stuffer?
What?
Stacey King's hot sauce. You go to GimmeTheHotSauce.com. You got all these different varieties.
Oh.
It makes a great stocking stuffer. And Whispers, who's not here today, he's in California doing God knows what. But he's going to package this all up. He's
a packer.
Hot sauce packer. Make sure you get each and every variety. Get the barbecue sauce. Yes. You can grill in the wintertime.
Yes.
There's no law against it.
There's nothing that hot sauce can't accomplish. Okay? Mm-hmm. If you want to sit by the fireplace, pour a little hot sauce on your girl and lick it off, you can do that. But I advise you to use the mild. Don't use the hot.
No. Don't use the Chicago fire.
Don't use the Chicago fire.
That would start a major fight.
There might be some problems there, but use the mild sauce. You can accomplish some things with that, baby. It's more than just food.
Oh, man. Now I know exactly what the Chicago Sports Network's going to edit out of this week's episode.
Freedom of speech.
But on YouTube, you got it all.
Yeah, you got it all on YouTube. Uncut version, baby. They can't keep me quiet. Oh, Lord. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, baby. Oh, Lord.
And Stacey, of course, is a man of the people. And if you love Stacey King, and we know you do, head on out to Biggers Mazda coming up on this Saturday. December 13th, Stacey King will be there live and in person, along with yours truly and Timmy Whispers and our great production crew. Everybody will be out there meeting the folks who stop by at Biggers Mazda to check out some of the inventory they've got on the lot. And we will be there taping a show, entertaining the folks.
Well, let me just say this right here. Let me just say this. Put that graphic back up there, please, boys. Okay, I know I'm the Michael Jackson of this group. I know, I'm the lead singer. Yeah. But I want the pictures. I want my pictures of Mark up there. I want Timmy Whispers up there. This is the show of all three of us, and I'm a little disappointed that I'm featured out there. Most nights I want to be the featured guy. Most nights I'm Michael Jackson of the show. But this is Jackson 3 right now. And the other two guys, I want Mark's picture up there, Biggers, and I want Timmy Whispers up there. I know Timmy Whispers doesn't talk a lot, but his picture says a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going up there as a group, baby.
He's got that underground following. There'll be all kinds of Timmy Whispers.
A bunch of weird people.
I was trying to be nice and underground.
I run into him at the game, man. It's like, I really like Tim Whispers, man. I'd like to hang out with that guy, man. You think he'd invite me over?
We're still waiting for our invitation to those holiday barbecues and stuff.
But the whole Gimme the Hot Sauce crew will be there. We'll have our Francisco be there. We'll have our guys, I don't know if Nick be there. Nick's big time now. He don't have time for the little people. I can't even get him on NBA 2K, anymore because after seeing his big man shoot, he sucks. So he costs us a game. But I'm trying to get him out there to play. Yeah. If you play NBA 2K 26, look me up. Rico De Niro, baby. That's my name. Rico De Niro, baby. And I'll be happy to join your team and lead you to a championship, baby.
Man, Stacey's promoting everything today.
He's sure that. Xbox, give me some money, baby. We don't turn nothing down when I call. I'm promoting you. NBA 2K 26, baby. I'm promoting you. We can use a sponsor.
Wow, I'm worn out after all that.
4 days off, Mark. I got 4 days off.
I know. That's why you got so much energy. All right.
Oh, the basketball guys answering my prayer. I got 4 days off right now, but I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with 4 days off, man. I'm used to having a game every other day. Some days back-to-back games. I got 4 days off. I think I might just go out and go get a pedicure.
There you go.
Because right now the feet look like I can catch a fish in Lake Michigan right now, baby. I got to go get the nails trimmed because, the girls like the nice toes. And she'll like it too.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap up this week's edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. I want to thank our great production crew. And if you're in the Elgin area, check us out. Biggers Mazda on Randall Road. We'll be there Saturday morning. So until then,
drive home safely, Chicago beep beep.
He didn't come for the massage, he came for the facial.
Don't zoom on. Does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook?
There's a block right behind you to get the invitation.
That's a huge three.
Mustard!
Lonzo left alone.
Able to swerve, bend that corner.
That's the last time I'm going to see it. Williams straight on. Got it.